Today I'm going to talk about Devon from Season 2, Episode 7 of Severance, Mark from Invincible Season 3, Dr. Louks from Twitter, and then relationship dynamics or relationships as well as fandom spaces. This is not like some master plots, like some big conspiracy theory. It's just how my brain works. And I'm not planning any of this like I usually do. So if I miss anything, or if I like forget a fact or something, fill in the spaces, use some nuance, come at this in good faith. We got this together. So starting off with Mark from Invincible Season 3, this is kind of setting the stage for how my brain was connecting all these things. Let me slow down. I'm talking way too fast. Anyway, Mark from Season 3 of Invincible. Before I started watching the season, I saw a lot of discourse about Mark and Cecil and who was right and who was wrong. And I was like, oh, is it really going to be that controversial? Is it really going to be that intense? And when I watched it, Mark was clearly out of line and immature. And I was struggling to understand why so many people couldn't actually see that. Too many people were arguing on who was correct, who was wrong, who was the villain, who was the hero, and that misses the point of the entire show. It's not just about right and wrong, good and bad, heroes and villains. And I think that's what makes Invincible pretty cool and pretty fun compared to stereotypical hero shows or comics, although many of them do question that. And that's what makes it kind of annoying to be a part of fandom sometimes, because you can't just like isolate the people who you agree with or have good conversations with. You'll be exposed to a lot of different people. And I'm saying that especially being in the Jujutsu Kaisen community, as someone who's made videos making like informational videos, correction videos, there's a lot of stuff that happens that makes it very frustrating to have conversations. So taking that energy, right? I'm seeing that with Severance Season 2, Episode 7 and Devon. The lack of empathy or understanding of a character and what they're doing, but also the way that people are like really going to defend the character and act like she's perfect, I think misses the point of the entire show. In my opinion, I thought Devon was out of line for trying to call Miss Cobell. Why would you, I'm saying this rhetorically, why would you go out of your way to call the boss, the evil boss, who was controlling your brother's innie and ruining your brother's life and doing weird stuff and maybe hiding the identity or hiding the status of your sister-in-law, who like basically spied on you two for years? That's a rhetorical question, but I know why she did it. Dr. Rigabi has no communication skills. She scares people. Like, Mark was terrified of her. Why would you not answer her questions or give any sort of comfort, right? Devon's freaking out. She's traumatized. She misses her sister. She misses her brother. Well, she's not missing her brother. She's scared for her brother. She's probably worried about the future of her family. She's also probably worried about like what her husband's doing and how he's rewriting his whole book to add to propaganda to this whole Lumen. Wow. Not planning videos makes it hard to speak. So like we understand why Devon did what she did, or at least people should understand why Devon did what she did. It's just at a certain point, I disagree with her decisions. I disagree with the conclusion that she went with. In my head, my heart, it makes sense to wait it out a bit, because there's a lady who clearly knows what she's doing, or at least knows enough that your brother is there. He's hooked up somehow. He's alive somehow. She has some sort of answers. And now you, as a person who's uneducated about the entire situation, is just going to give that up? Let her walk out the door and not even apologize? Nope. Let your brother wake up first. Have him speak for himself. Get answers later. I've been in situations similar to that. I can't say like obviously I've had like someone hooked up and but I've been in situations where you don't like someone, or you don't trust someone, or you know that someone is maybe not that great, but just like trying to walk away is a little bit reckless. Like there's stuff that needs to be handled. And the reason why I thought about Invincible is because, again, it's like there's a lot of black and white thinking when really Severance allows us to not have that. That's what makes Severance really great. Each character is flawed. Each character has something about them that's not good, or like kind of hurts other people or hinders other people. I think the only people so far who haven't shown that are Helly, maybe, and Gemma. I'd have to rewatch the episode, but so far those are the only two people who kind of like are acting in good faith all the time, or don't really have any baggage or whatever. Nothing that can like really set back the plot or go against the other characters. Again, if I missed a detail, I missed the detail, but it's not that big a deal. Um, and so when we're looking at Devon and we're trying to analyze her character, it's similar to Mark. I felt like Mark, he has good intentions, he has a good heart, but sometimes he's selfish. He does what he wants. That's the energy that Devon was giving. So far, we can see that Devon has good intentions, at least it seems like it. She has a good heart, but she's selfish. And you can argue that selfishness is still really bad. It kind of cancels out the good intentions. Intention versus impact. There's a dynamic there. But I think it's very silly to think that Devon never did anything wrong ever. She's the best girl. I think it's also very silly to think that Devon, at this point in the show, is a secret spy for Lumen. Nuance, people, nuance. I'm losing my train of thought. I gotta wrap it up. So anyway, I think at this point, we should be able to appreciate that Devon is a human who makes mistakes, who has wants and needs. I think right now I don't have any strong opinions about how she feels about Rickon. Like, I think a lot of people are saying, like, she absolutely hates that man. And she's just, like, kind of trapped in that relationship. Other people think, like, she loves that man. I still am, like, I think she loves him, but I think it's gonna, like, fade. But I think this episode might be foreshadowing, it's hard to say, that Devon might, in the future, do something selfish. Take a wrong step. Do something that kind of hurts other people. And then maybe try to throw it back at Mark and be like, well, you did this thing. You hurt me this way. I can't hurt people. Like, that would be kind of a realistic take. Because that happens with people all the time. So I don't think she's evil. I think she's just human and flawed. I don't think she's ever going to, like, turn around and start working for Lumen. But I don't necessarily think she's going to make this journey any easier. And that's where my brain is going towards Dr. Ali Louks and relationships in fandom. So Dr. Ali Louks, I think she's the one who was talking about olfactory ethics and the politics of smell. And it's not really, like, I don't need to go into the entire thing right now, but I think one of the greatest things that came out of that is realizing how much you can learn about people in the past or in real time through fiction, even just fiction, how we write. And you can even learn about society or how people are through how they discuss fiction and literature, how they participate in fandom. And so there's been a lot of stuff over the years showing how messy or how cooked society has got simply by looking at fandom spaces, looking at the arguments, looking at some of the more right-wing rhetoric, looking at how we attack people, looking at the increase of bullying across the internet and how people justify bullying and dogpiling. And I've noticed this with Severance. People are starting to be like, oh, you don't have siblings. Which is, like, it's not, like, the worst diss ever, but, like, people are, like, starting to, like, attack people's families and act like they don't understand Devon because, like, they might be an only child, or they're getting, like, really, really angry over this. And it's interesting because, on one hand, you can see someone's views on life through this. You can see how they assess someone, how they assess a fictional character. You can make some assumptions about how they would assess a relationship in real life. Like, some of these people, I look at their arguments and I'm like, have you ever had, like, a productive argument in real life where someone has hurt you or done you dirty and you can understand why they did something and you can actually, see why they took the steps they did, but then be like, I still disagree, that thing hurt me. Can you do that without, like, attacking them? Because it's, like, it's interesting, like, how some of you are, like, actually attacking people over fiction and not actually assessing the dynamics, the relationships, how we got from point A to point B, which, again, if you don't do that, I think you're missing out on a lot of fun when it comes to Severance. I think, again, going back to Dr. Ali Louks, some of the takes I've seen for this show are showing the downfall of society. Like, some people are saying, like, it's not that deep. Some of you are going way too deep with these Severance theories. You need to calm down. It's Severance, where everything matters. And you're saying it's not that deep? Of all the shows, if it was like Solo Leveling, sure. Even then, there's still some stuff. But, like, Severance, it's disappointing. Like, legit, it's actually disappointing. How many people try to water Severance down. Like, there are going to be times where we overreach, but that doesn't mean you're a failure. It doesn't mean that everything that you've thought about is ever wrong. It's just, you fail, you keep moving on. You find a little tweak in your data, you move on. You find out a new theory, you move on. It would be nice to, I'm out of time. Anyway, that's all.